Unfortunately, thousands of people get assaulted every year. And a lot of the times when people try and get away, they're unable to do so. So should you learn self-defence, or if you have physical self-defence techniques available to you, would you really be able to use them? Patrick Comiskey, you're chief instructor with Krav, Maga, Ireland, which is what?
Well, basically, it's a self-defense system that was originally developed by the Israeli military, like a long, long time ago. And the whole idea of our training now, which is to teach everyday normal people very quickly how to protect yourselves. So the whole idea is that if someone ever tried to harm you, or someone ever tried to take you somewhere or hurt you, if someone's in your house, that you could act in your own defence.
By doing what?
By basically everything from preventing, stopping things, de-escalating, and if it comes to it, physically protecting yourself.
Okay, can you explain briefly to me, because I'm sure this is a lengthy course that you give people as to how to do it, but give us some examples of how you would do that? Well,
the first thing that you have to understand is the psychology of victim selection, is that very few people go out and pick on someone they think is going to beat them up. So basically what most criminals do, or thugs do, is they profile their victims. So the very first thing, as we call that interviewing, is to fail that interview. And that interview can show up as inappropriate behaviour, grabbing, touching, whatever. The most important thing you can do is show you know that what's going on and that you can protect yourself. And then we look at striking.
So you need a certain aura of almost like, don't mess with me, is it?
Well, most of us have heard about the idea of a victim aura. So if you have a victim aura, you have a confidence aura. So yeah, the idea that if you're efficient and you have the self-efficacy of being able to protect yourself, yes, that's going to show up in how you show up in the world.
John Kavanagh was with us recently on the programme, who of course coaches Conor McGregor, and he said what prompted him to get involved in mixed martial arts was a severe beating that he took in Rathmines one night.
Yeah, and you know, you're going to want to know that if that happened again, you could do something about it, at least try. Anyway.
Okay, Avril Power is with us, Chief Executive of the Asthma Society. You've learned self-defence because of your own worries. Tell us about that.
Well, a few years ago, Matt, I was living in town at the time and had tried to, I was living about a 15-minute walk, I guess, from the city centre, and had tried to get a taxi and was waiting for ages and couldn't get a taxi, and I said, you know what, it's 15 minutes, and decided to walk home. And I was halfway there when someone started following me. And I knew he was following me because I did all the things you're supposed to do. You cross the road and see does he cross the road and things like that, and I knew he was following me. And you know, that went on for a good 5 minutes.
And how nervous did you feel when you realised that?
Absolutely petrified. Absolutely petrified. And it was quiet and there was no one else around and you're not sure what to do.
Did you have a phone with you?
I didn't actually at the time. I don't know why I did. Yeah, I didn't like, cause I would have thought I'd ring somebody or whatever. I didn't, so I mustn't have had my phone, or maybe it was dead. You know, the usual not charging your phone or whatever. Before going out. And then eventually a taxi came along, and I got into the taxi, and I just remember just getting into that taxi and just going, wow. I'm glad that, you know, that I'm just so lucky. And after that, I said, you know, I need to just do a course, learn about self-defence.
So what did you do?
So I looked up Patrick online and went off to Krav Maga Ireland and did a 2-day course with Patrick. And learned everything from, as he's saying, you know, to prevention. So now I will be even if I have to wait for an hour for a taxi, I'll wait. I'm not gonna walk. You know,
taking
or
an unnecessary chance.
Take an unnecessary chance, or you know that if you're going out, say me, and you're parking your car and you're parking the car at 7 o'clock in the evening, I'm now thinking, well, what is this place going to look like at midnight? You know, what is the lighting like? So just because it's bright when I'm leaving the car here at 7 o'clock, if I'm walking back later, is it going to be bright? Are there going to be other people around? Is it a safe environment? So planning is important. But Patrick was saying about, you know, how attackers are watching victims. It's things like body language, you know, that if you're walking down the street, that you're not fiddling with that you have awareness. So that you're looking around and you can see what's happening around you, as opposed to fiddling at your phone and being obviously distracted.
But even if those things didn't work, did you learn physical self-defence?
Yes.
So in the event, so what have you learned? I remember seeing you at one stage from photographs of you a couple of years ago, boxing,
yes.
wasn't it? Doing charity boxing. Is that what you learned? Would you box the head off somebody who came after you?
I've been boxing for a good while, actually, and I've done 3 white-collar fights, charity fights, boxing. See, but the difference, Matt, is when you're boxing against another lady of the same height, same weight. I mean, that's very unlikely to be what happens if you're attacked on the street.
Yeah.
You know, it's more likely that the woman's probably that you're going to be attacked by a man, and probably someone who's a lot bigger and a lot stronger. You know, so there's no point then trying to use physical force to get away from someone. So the techniques that Patrick teaches is how anybody, you know, how a woman by using certain techniques can actually fight off a man who's 3 times her size. You know, things like, so, I mean, the word most men hate even to hear is groin. That, you know, even a big guy, if he's grabbing you and your hands are close enough to be able to hit him in the groin, he's going to get a shock if you give him a bang. Whether he's a big tough guy or, you know, heavyweight boxer, or whether he's a small guy, he's going to react, and maybe that reaction, him just moving away for a second, gives you a chance to run. So it's practical things like that aren't based on strength.
I suppose the only thing, Patrick, is that you would worry that if you try and execute a move like that and it doesn't work, could you further enrage your attacker, who could become more violent towards you?
There's a lot of research on this. There's a lot of research on this, and there's a 10-year project looking at the efficacy of self-defence. And the very fact you do a self-defence course actually reduces your chance of being assaulted by 50%. And the reality of it is, if you don't fight back, you are then totally at the whim of the attacker. And by fighting back, remember, they are not looking for a fight. They are looking for a victim. And we don't know, but if you don't fight back, it's their decision. If you fight back, you know, we show you tactics, for example, how to stop you if you've been dragged into a car, how to not go into the car. If someone's dragging you down a laneway or someone's choking you, there's actually moves that any person can learn very, very quickly that can break those things and give you the chance to run like hell. Now, the number one thing we teach is it's all about prevention and escape. And then suddenly you might have to do, you know, psychological tricks. We show you ideas about how to interrupt their thought patterns. And we also show you how to, if a person dragging you into a car, how to break that and escape. And that's what it's about. You know?
You've never had reason to use any of these techniques, have you, Avril?
No, and you know what? I hope I never do. I really hope that maybe that I'll never actually get in that situation. But I like knowing that if I did, at least I'd have a better chance of fighting back. That, you know, that because we've practiced certain holds and what it feels like if somebody's strangling you, or if a man is pinning you to the ground or grabbing you in chokehold or things like that, because I've trained through that, I think I'm less likely to panic, that I'm actually going to think, you know, that you're more likely to think, what can I do, and to react. Look,
presumably you're allowed by the law, are you, to defend yourself by all means possible?
Of course you are.
Are you?
I mean, you're allowed to use reasonable force in self-defence, so of course it's proportionate. Like, you're not going to hit someone who's talking to you, you know what I mean? It's only if, as I said, if I would hit someone in the groin, if they were pinning me and they had my arms, of course you're going to reach out and you're going to defend yourself, but you would never use violence until somebody has already done that. But if somebody is attacking you, you have to fight back, and under the law you're entitled to do that. You're entitled to defend yourself, and I suppose this is just giving you the toolkit to be able to do that.
I have to leave it there. Thank you very much, Avril Power, for joining us, and also Patrick Comiskey from Krav Maga Ireland.